in there. So, all right. So the agenda today is just an overview of the Vodia ecosystem, an introduction on the modern web GUI. We're going to highlight some labeling options, customization, highlight the Vodia WebRTC, and then next week we're going to have another webinar on how to increase revenues with Vodia Cloud Phone System. Hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Okay, Vodia was founded in 2006, privately owned, a US-based company. Specializes on IPBX software for enterprise and service providers. We have regional offices in Canada, Europe, South Africa, China, and Australia. We have also 100,000 hosted end users on the Vodia SaaS platform. And we notice a significant growth of 40% this year alone with our hosted platform. Okay, and so modern communication system for the 21st century. Vodia PBX has no moving part. It's a robust, flexible, affordable software PBX. And we have MSPs and VARs can create and sell plans that meet the future communication. So that's what's good about the PBX. You can custom make your business around it. You can do conference servers, calling cards. And then the browse-based communication. So you guys played around with the WebRTC. Hopefully you found it useful for some implementations where phones are not available, or if you don't want to purchase any phones, you can just use the WebRTC on the Vodia phone. It's going to replace, we believe it's going to replace the phones in years to come, which would be great because you don't have to build new phones. It'll be great for the ecosystem. And then, you know, it delivers, we believe that it's going to deliver a vision, and hopefully you guys will be using it much more and give us more feedback on the Vodia web interface of the phone. So Vodia, you know, you all know that's a zero start cost, low infrastructure costs. We have linear pricing, true plug and play. Bring your own device, it's full white labeling solution. Advanced security, multi-tenant. We have click to call, post for SMS, and fax to email. So we have our top customers around the world. These guys have grown over the years. I've worked with you guys, and I've seen a steady increase. So that means that the Vodia PBX is going to be something for the future for your business, and hopefully we'll grow together and make new innovations for the future of telephony. So today we support new phones that have come out, like the AccuVox VTech, Essene, Grandstream, Polycom H-Tech, soft phones like Zoiper and Counterpath. And I believe Mitel will be the next phone that we're going to provision. It's going to be available on template and Fanville as well. So Vodia notices that we have a lot of integration done with a lot of third parties like FreshBook, Dockers, Salesforce CRM. We can also be hosted on the Amazon Web Services, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and FreshBooks has been very popular with us as far as billing is concerned. When you're running a hosted business, hosted PBX business, where you want to bill your customers, whether it be extensions that you're charging them, or accounts, or just paid per minute. SIP trunks, you guys primarily, most of you guys are SIP trunk providers, so you already know that how that works. But we also support other trunks like Twilio, Broadvox, FlowRoute, ThinkQ. ThinkQ is one of my favorite trunks I like to deal with because they have good level 3 support, and also a bandwidth. If you guys do any business with bandwidth, we support the SMS feature for text. So basically, you'll probably get a text from the PBX, whether it be you're an admin or a user. If a user gets a voicemail, they'll get their text voicemails as well. All right, so let's go to the last few slides that we have. So potentially, there's going to be a growth in voice over IP. So global VoIP service surged up to 140 billion by 2021. So that being said, our other competitors like RingCentral and Vonage, etc., they already know, and they're pouring a lot of money into voice over IP. So I think you guys already see the future. You guys see the light with Vodia being part of your ecosystem today, and you know it's successful. So great app. So those are the advantages with PBX. Okay, so let's go to the web interface. All right, so this is the main page of the PBX. I only have one domain today, but it is multi-tenant, so just create one on the fly. Oh, already have that. All right, so there's my domain. We have the extension level. Let's create a quick extension. You see that the GUI is so much responsive now. Smooth. We have new icons. And let's go within the extension. Very sleek, very responsive. We added some widgets. Here's the redirection page. Mailbox. Here's the email page. Registration. You can see we added some nice integration here. You add a contact. Get your MAC addresses. Permissions for extensions. Buttons. If you wanted to create some buttons, you can do so. Let's do BLF or agent group. So that's created. Customize. Very good feature when you want to customize a phone without configuring the whole system. You just want to configure a few items or things on the phone, like say update policy. You want to change that to never update. Oh, Vladimir. Okay. The auto attendant. Let's create one. Let's give it a name. About ANI. Extensions inputs. Okay. So you guys already seen the difference between the old PBX and the new PBX. Conference room. All right, so anything worth mentioning is the left-hand panel has these drop downs that put everything in order, and it's very organized as well compared to the old web interface. The other thing I want to mention is the logo. So let's go to the logo here. So here you can upload an SVG image for your PBX, so you can brand your PBX as well. You have to make sure you have a correct SVG image for it to work. And then the background images for the phone as well. That helps for E-Link phones and SNOM phones that support color display on the phone. The other advancements we have is Action URL, great for a hospitality sector. You can create a method on how you want the server to reply the client. So these are very useful tools. Also a PMS server using UHLL. You can create connection between the PMS server and the PBX. So in order to function together, you can send call charges to PMS. You can switch this to yes, no. You see the response of the buttons are pretty responsive, pretty slick as well. And then we can go through some pages. You can see the difference between the old and new. The address book, dial plan, voicemails. If you had any recording calls, it will show up here. So it's very nicely integrated. You'll see a play button once you have recordings. You can add a MOH source file as well. We have group messaging. This is, I believe, SNOM phones support this, but I believe other phones as well. I think GrandStream supports messaging. We have the user location and customize page. This is the templates from the domain. We have all the files. We support Fanville, Cisco, SNOM, GrandStream, XMLs. You need to change them. You can change them here. It's much more effective this time because you can stretch the format here, the buttons and everything. So stop codes. See, everything is much bigger. It's much wider, so you can see the settings that we have compared to the old version where the fonts were a little bit too small. So we have buttons, lots of buttons. All right, so let's exit and let's go to the administrator page. If you guys are probably using the DID management list, which I find very easy when you're doing a deployment, you can put your DIDs and map your domains if it's a multi-tenant. And if you guys have any questions about the new interface or some inquiry, you can send us an email at sales@vodia.com. Also, we want to mention the search bar. So rather than going and clicking, you can just go to a page. It's a brand new feature that we have. Makes it easy for admins to look for certain settings in the system. We have so many. So hopefully that would help you guys more to deploy and figure out where things are in the system. I think we have certificates. search. We can click there and go to the search page. You got your general information here, and the graphs. We did some upgrades on the graphs. It looks much more readable, clear. I have no traffic here. Maybe just one HTTP session myself, so I haven't done any testing on this server here. We got the log file as well. I think you guys will like this. It's not all bunched up. If you're doing some troubleshooting, click the arrow going up. I think that's pretty cool. And we got the call history page, active calls, DNA's cache. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys want to also download the beta version, I think we sent an email out so you guys can test it. If you have any questions, please send us an email at sales@vodia.com or send me a personal email at hc@vodia.com if you have any questions for me. I'm just going to unmute you guys, and maybe you guys, if you guys want to ask a question through chat, I can pick a question out and try to answer it to the best of my ability. Hey guys. So Vladimir asked if I would wait for the official release before putting in production, but you can also test it on your cold servers to see if if it's right, if you don't find any issues with it. But normally I would wait for the major release, especially if you're doing hosted. Okay, so David asked, where is the global branding for logos? The only one I can find or shown here is under domain account. So the domain account has its own logo as far as, and the administrator. So if you wanted to globally put your image, rather than put new images for each customer, it's your brand, right? So you go to programs for Windows. For Windows, we go program, Vodia PBX, and go to HTML and create an image, because that's how we verify the file. And then here you dump your image, whether it be SVG or JPEG. So this is the same for Linux, I believe, user, local, PBX, HTML. Sorry, I failed to mention that you have to create an HTML folder in order to have your image be global on the system. So if you have any more questions, you can write it on the chat window. So Nick asks, what's the significance of adding the 1 in the DID number in the accounts? Well, there's two ways actually. If the 1 is in front of the number, it's a global number. However, you can globalize that and put that on the country code on the domain. And it also, I want to mention that when an inbound call comes into the PBX, it usually comes in as a global number in some cases that I've seen. So the PBX will match that based on the send request URI under the trunk setting. So if you don't add the 1, which is fine. However, if you add it on the global level, on the system settings, you put 1, then it will be global. Luis asked can I test the same server? I have my old server. yeah, I mean, you can download the new version. You can, if it's not in production, you can stop the service in Windows, rename the folder and the program files, and then reinstall the PBX. Has okay. So Neo asks, has provisioning been improved or the same? So there's always room for improvement, especially if the phone vendor changes their button templates or they added a new feature that some customers want. So we have to adapt with the change. So is provisioning perfect or improved? I would say yes, in the standpoint that the phone provisions, you get your buttons. We do a very good job with that. Uh, so if something changes on the you know, for example, on GrandStream, we've done a lot of work with them, and we've improved their template, for example. So they'll give us the template, we'll improve it. If they change something, they let us know. So we have that relationship with our phone friends. So yeah. So okay. So let's go to the next question. Alan from VoiceSpring, has the interface that the users see when they log in is using their extension change? Um, well, for the user interface, is that if that's what you mean, um, it is okay here. So this is the user interface. Um, there has been no improvement here. We've done much that we can do here. If there's a new feature or a new setting that needs to be put, we'll put it. I mean, so it is the same as it was. Luis asks, this version has the ability for text and video. The only ability we have right now is text, SMS. So if you want to test that, you can sign up with bandwidth, and we have a setting for the SMS, for the text messages for SMS on the system. So we don't have video yet. That's something that's in the pipeline. Nick asks, or Renee asks, user interface is fixed in the new version. Yes, it's been fixed since, I believe, version 52 or 51. We've also added some DTLS and TLS 1.1.2, and I believe RSC4. We did something with the cryptography. So those are some of the protocols that Google needed to be integrated with. If you don't have those updates that they mandate, then WebRTC won't work. So yes, the web interface, the user web interface works. You can use it today with a headset USB or just your speaker on your laptop. On the second. Nick asks, will this make it easier to limit the option available in the user portal, or will that be able to be built out? That's a good question. In fact, I believe in the domain level, we have, let's say, I believe, let me go to the admin level. Settings, maintenance, customize. Yes, here it is, user page control. So we do have something. I mean, you don't want your customers changing the SIP passwords on the user level, which might cause some trouble as long as the phone reboots. They'll get the new SIP password. I don't think that's a biggie, but if you don't want to show it, you can hide it. The web password, you can hide it. User select the address book can be hidden. Redirection. All these settings here can be hidden from the customer based on the user level. So you can hide them, or you can show them. Luis asks, no, I can't stop the server for my regular calls by my work. Well, Luis, I would build another server and run the new version, if that's the case. So I wouldn't. If you feel daring and you can test it if you want on your hot server, but I would recommend doing it on your cold server and then maybe add a couple registrations on there, trunk, make sure everything works for you, feel comfortable with it. And again, if we have the beta version out, so we really need your comments. If you find anything that we can fix to improve the performance and the functionality of the PBX. Alan asks, has the change that caused the phone to reboot when changing is made been back out? Well, okay, so the reboot for the phones, I believe today you can do a resync, which is basically the same thing. In some cases, or I've seen so far, that when you do a resync on the domain level, the phones will reboot to get that new change. So in case, I'm not sure if the reboot will be there or will be added. I would have to ask the development on that. But it has been fixed in the sense that you can use the resync option, which is basically the same thing. Alan asks from VoiceSpring, running version 57.x. If I change a button, for example, the phone reboots. That's actually okay because we are sending a message to the phone. Phone will initiate a reboot so that the next time around the phone boots up, it'll get the new configuration of button, for example, or if changing a transport to TCP to TLS or to UDP. So that's expected behavior of the phone. So do you have any more questions? Luis asks, is for text now you see short zip? Yeah, this is for text now you see short zip. I'm not sure I understand. If you're talking about the general settings, system settings, I believe, yeah. So if you're talking about the log length, you can change that on the domain, on the system level, where it'll show the invite information as short text as far as the from and the to, and the invite is concerned. We'll shorten that to F and then 2 for 2. Okay. All right, guys. So, I mean, thanks for joining me on this time around. This webinar to show you the new web interface. I have a recording of this session. Oh, okay. Luis asked, most soft phones only work with that protocol. Sure. I mean, it's a soft phone is a SIP-based component, so we should support that as well. Also, I forgot to mention under the customize page, you can customize your company logo, your image email. When emails go out, they'll see your logo, fax images, and voice images to email when the user gets a new mail from the mailbox. Okay, and next week, guys, we're going to host another webinar on how to increase your sales with the Vodia cloud solution. It'll be next Friday. We'll send out an email and let you know the time and date for that event. I hope to see you guys there as well. So Thank you for joining me and taking some time out of your day to experience the new web interface that Vodia, the new modern web interface that Vodia has created for you guys. All right, so have a good day and have a good week.